Okay, so we're back and ready for another deep dive.
Right.
This time, we had a listener write in wanting to know more about how to bring social emotional learning
Okay.
into sixth grade PE classes,
Yeah.
which is a really fascinating topic, I think.
Absolutely.
And, thankfully we've got some good sources here
Yeah.
that have some tips and examples specifically for that age group.
Great.
So let's get into that.
Sounds good.
And we have an expert here with us who can help us unpack this a little bit more.
I'm happy to.
Now, you're probably already familiar with SEL, but just in case anyone out there is thinking, wait, what's SEL? Could
Yeah.
you give us just a quick, 30-second rundown?
Sure, yeah. So social emotional learning is basically all about giving kids tools to understand and manage their emotions,
Okay.
build relationships, have empathy, make responsible decisions, and really just set them up for success in life. And these are skills that go way beyond just the classroom.
Yeah.
These are life skills. Totally. And I think that's what's so cool about this
Yeah.
is, we're talking about weaving it into physical activities.
Yes.
You're not taking away the movement,
Yeah.
the energy, the fun of PE.
Right.
You're just adding this extra layer
right.
of
yeah.
awareness.
Yes, it's about enhancing the experience, not replacing it.
I like that.
And especially with sixth graders,
Yeah.
they are really at that stage where they're figuring out who they are, how they fit in,
Right.
all these complex social dynamics. SEL gives them this framework for making sense of it all.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so let's get into some of these tips that we have. One that I saw in the source material that really stood out to me was team talk time.
Oh,
Can you explain what that is?
so picture this.
Okay.
You've got your students about to do a relay race,
Mm-hmm.
but before they actually start running,
Okay.
the teams take a few minutes to huddle. And they're not just talking about, who's going to run when or what their strategy is. They're talking about
Yeah.
how they can support and encourage each other.
It's about setting this positive, collaborative tone
I like that.
from the get-go.
Yeah, and I bet you that carries over into the race.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about winning. It's about working together,
Exactly.
cheering each other
That
on.
sense of camaraderie,
Yeah.
that shared responsibility, which is so important for this age.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And speaking of teamwork, the trust walk activity.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds amazing. Blindfolded, having to rely on a partner to
Right.
guide you through this obstacle course.
That's a really powerful experience.
That's powerful stuff.
It is.
And I think, for sixth graders,
Yeah.
at that age where trust and feeling connected to your peers
Mm-hmm.
is like everything.
Totally.
This is a chance to actually practice that.
It's not just a game.
Yeah.
It's building those bonds and
Yeah.
practicing those skills in a safe environment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, and what I think is interesting is, the trust walk is obviously about,
Yeah.
relationship skills.
Mm-hmm.
But you could also use that activity.
To talk about self-awareness, like how did it feel to be the guide?
Exactly.
How did it feel to be guided?
Yes.
What were your strengths and weaknesses in each role?
You're bringing in that reflective element, which is
Yeah.
so key
Yeah.
for helping them connect it back to themselves.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got teamwork. We've got trust. What about empathy?
Ooh.
That can be a tough one.
Yeah, that's a tough
The
one.
middle schoolers.
No, sure.
But one of the tips I saw in here was suggesting rotating roles in a soccer game.
Oh, I love that.
So everyone gets a chance to play goalie. Defense, offense.
Yes.
And so, instead of just focusing on your own position,
Yeah.
you actually get to experience.
You get to step into someone else's shoes.
Yeah,
Build
literally. And all of a sudden you have this whole new understanding of the challenges and perspectives of your teammates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It breaks down those barriers
Mhm,
that can
mhm.
pop up.
Right.
That me versus them.
And speaking of, competition
Mhm.
leading to conflict,
Yeah.
this source also talks about
How to teach conflict resolution skills.
Hmm.
Like right in the middle of PE.
right in the action.
How does that work?
So, imagine there's a disagreement during a basketball game.
Okay.
Instead of letting it escalate,
Yeah.
the teacher steps in, guides the students through this process of
Yeah.
addressing the issue calmly and respectfully.
Okay.
Maybe they take a time out.
Right.
Each side explains their perspective, and then together they come up with a solution.
I mean, talk about a real time,
Yeah,
practical example
right there in the moment.
for these kids, who are still figuring out how to
Exactly.
navigate those tricky social
And you're
situations.
learning by doing,
Yeah.
and also just by watching the adults model it,
Right.
they're more likely to adopt those strategies.
Totally. Okay. So Teamwork,
Mhm.
trust, empathy, conflict resolution. What about building resilience?
Yes.
Because life, you know, throws us curveballs.
For sure.
We got to equip these kids
Huh?
with the tools to bounce back.
Absolutely.
I saw a good example of this in here. It's about gradually increasing the difficulty of sprints.
Oh, yeah.
So you start with short, easy sprints
Oh, yeah.
and then slowly build up
Mhm.
to longer, more challenging ones.
I like it.
Now, I know on the surface that just sounds like, okay, you're building
Mm-hmm.
physical endurance. But I bet there's a deeper SEL connection there.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
You're showing them that. Setbacks are normal.
Okay.
You know, they're going to hit those moments where they want to give up.
Yeah.
But by pushing through, they build resilience.
Mhm.
They learn that it's okay to struggle.
Right.
In fact, it's through struggle that we actually grow,
I like that.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's such an important lesson that goes way beyond just running.
It's like that quote, we fall down so we can learn to pick ourselves back up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And you know, as a teacher or a coach, you're there to guide them through it.
Absolutely.
You're celebrating the effort, encouraging them.
Helping them make those connections
Yeah.
between the physical and, you know, life's challenges.
And speaking of celebrating, I love how the source talks about recognizing not just achievements,
Okay.
but effort and acts of kindness.
Yes.
There are some great examples in here
Mm,
about like team spirit, shout outs,
I love that.
and gratitude circles. Can you
Yeah.
talk about those a little bit?
Yeah, so the team spirit shout-outs, it's basically just at the end of class.
Okay.
Maybe you take a few minutes for students to recognize their peers.
Uh-huh.
Maybe someone showed great sportsmanship or went out of their way to help someone else.
I like that.
It's just creating that culture of appreciation,
Yeah.
positive reinforcement.
And what about gratitude circles?
So gratitude circles.
Yep.
You know, everyone stands in a circle. Each
Right.
person takes a turn sharing something they're grateful for.
Yeah.
It could be related to PE.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm grateful for my P-mate who helped me up when I fell. Or it could be completely unrelated, like,
Right.
I'm grateful for the sunshine today.
I love it.
It really shifts the focus from competition to appreciation and reminds everyone there's always something to be thankful for.
Totally. One other tip I saw in here was about guided peer mentorship.
Oh.
Can you give me an example of that?
Yeah, so say you're working on jumping techniques.
Okay.
You could pair a student who's really confident with a student who's struggling. The confident jumper becomes the mentor
Yeah.
and offers support, encouragement, guidance.
But they're learning from each other.
They are.
Which is
It's so effective because sometimes students are more receptive to learning from their peers
Yeah.
than from adults.
Totally. Well, this has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
I mean,
huh?
we've really explored so many creative and practical ways to bring SEL into PE.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think what we've seen
Mm-hmm.
is that the benefits go way beyond just PE.
For sure.
You're not just teaching kids, you know, how to throw a ball or run a race.
Yeah.
You're giving them skills
Yeah.
to navigate life's challenges,
Yeah.
to build healthy relationships,
Absolutely.
you know, to just become well-rounded individuals.
I love it.
So listeners, we want to leave you with this question. What are some other creative ways that you could integrate SEL into PE or other areas of your school environment? Get those creative juices flowing and let us know what you come up with. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.